Good afternoon, students. Are you hearing my voice? Students, are you hearing my voice? Students, please respond. Are you hearing my voice or not?
Yes, sir.
Are you hearing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. Okay. So we have two classes left because tomorrow is the last day of instruction for your first semester. Your first semester classes will end tomorrow. Okay, so we have the two classes today and tomorrow left, and as a part of our syllabus, we are revising the ancient Egyptian civilization, right? So in the last class, we discussed about the location and society and other things which related to literary sources to know about ancient civilization. Okay, so today we are going to see about things particularly the things which related to the society as well as their culture. Okay, so as a part of the culture and as a part of the society, we have the certain things like food habits and also dress styles and also various things the professions in the society and religion basically. And as a part of society, we see about the status of women or the condition of women in the ancient Egyptian society, and also we'll see the other things like amusement or any games where particularly they enjoyed during the leisure time. Okay, so these things we can discuss as a part of the society as well as the culture of particular civilization. Okay, so we'll see first of all the society. In the last class, we had discussion over these food habits and also dress styles. Okay, so once again we'll see those things and then we'll move to the other important aspects. Okay, so before going to my lecture, I have to share my screen and then I'll continue my lecture. Okay, so here as a part of the society, we had the things about the society and division of the society. And as a part of the division of the society, we had certain sections in the society. Those the people can divide our their worship basically on the basis of their profession or like that. Okay, so when you see, there are looking nice and being clean was very important to the Egyptians, and most everyone, men and women, wore jewelry for some type, and the rich wore jewelry made up of gold and silver, while the poorer people used the copper like that. Okay, so according to their status, they used jewelry made with various valuable metals and also common metals. Okay, so it is depend on their status. Okay, so And they also followed certain things like makeup, and makeup also followed by the both men and women. Okay, so and apart from that, we had certain things over their food habits, basically the intake. And the main staple of a commoner was the bread, and they also had fruits, vegetables, lamb, and goats for food. They had clay ovens to cook in usually used dishes made of clay, and the main drink was beer made from the barley. Okay, so apart from that, we had certain profession-based society, and most of the people were the farmers. Basically, the division like the farmers, crafts people, craftsmen, which is based on the craftsmanship, and the soldiers, scribes, and priests and priestesses. Okay, so such division you find. Okay, so apart from the main three divisions, one is the upper division, middle, and lower division. Apart from these, those main divisions may subdivide into like this, like the farmers, craftsmen, and also soldiers, scribes, and priests, like a middleman or like that. Okay, so like certain division you'll see, and apart from that, we'll see about the clothing, and clothing also one of the important thing you have to see as a part of the society. And the ancient Egyptians wore clothing made from the linen, and linen is a light and cool fabric that worked well in the hot climate of Egypt. And the Egyptians made linen from the fibers of the flax plant. Workers would spin the fibers into thread that would then be woven into linen fabric using looms. And it was a long and laborious process. And wealthy people wore very soft linen cloths made from the thin fiber, and poor people and peasants wore regular, rougher linen clothing made from the thicker fibers. And the clothing during ancient Egypt was somewhat fairly simple, and the linen cloth was typically white and seldom dyed another color, and very little stitching was done to items, as most clothing was wrapped around and then held on the with belt. Also, the styles were generally the same for cloth, for the both the rich and the poor alike. And men wore wrap around skirt similar to a kilt, and the length of the skirt varied over the history of ancient Egypt, and sometimes it was short and above the knee. And women typically wore a long wrap around dress that went down to their ankles, and dresses varied in style and may or may not have sleeves like that. Okay, so when you see the jewelry, although the clothing of the ancient Egyptians was simple and plain, and they made up for it with elaborate jewelry, and both men and women wore lots of jewelry, including heavy bracelets, earrings, and necklaces. And one popular item of jewelry was the neck collar, and neck collars were made of bright beads or jewels, and were worn on special occasions. When I see the style of hair, hairstyles were important and changed over time. Up until the Middle Kingdom time period, women usually wore their hair short. During and after the Middle Kingdom, they began to wear their hair longer, and men generally cut their hair short or even shaved their head also. And wealthy people, with the men and women, often wore wigs, and the more elaborate and jeweled the wig, the wealthier the person was. Makeup was already, we completed, makeup was an important part of Egyptian fashion. Both men and women were followed the makeup. Okay, so after that, when you see the entertainment and the games, where particularly the people of ancient Egypt enjoyed a variety of activities of entertainment. Like in most societies, the wealthy had more leisure time for fun and games. But even the peasants like it to have fun and enjoy festivals and games. When you see the hunting as a part of the amusement, and the Egyptians not only hunted for food, they also hunted for entertainment. And sometimes large game animals would be brought into an enclosed area for rich nobles or even the pharaoh to hunt. Dangerous animals like lions and hippos were hunted this way, and hunters used a variety of weapons, including spears, arrows, and throwing sticks. And when you see the board games, the ancient Egyptians like to play board games for fun. Two of the most popular board games were Senet and Mahan. The game of Senet is thought to be over 5,000 years old, and it was so popular that many pharaohs were buried with the Senate boards, so they would have something to do in the afterlife. Mahan was played on a round board with spaces shaped like a coiled snake. When you see certain sports, the ancient Egyptians also enjoyed physical games and sports. Many of the sporting activities helped to prepare young men or battle. Wrestling was a popular sport that both the rich and poor people like enjoyed, and chariot racing helped to hone the skills of chariot drivers, and archery contests helped warriors improve their accuracy with the bow and arrow. When you see the storytelling, also one of the amusement they followed, and most ancient Egyptians could not read or write up until the times when the Greeks conquered Egypt, and the Egyptians didn't have any theater either. However, the ancient Egyptians loved to tell stories, and storytellers could keep an audience captivated for hours with popular tales about Egyptian gods, love, war, heroes, and adventures. And stories were passed down from generation to generation orally. Okay, so when you see the festivals throughout the year, the Egyptians celebrated various festivals, and many of these were in honor of certain gods, such as the Thoth festival, and festival involved special offerings and celebrations. During the Opet festival, the statues of gods Aman, Mut, and Khonsu would travel in a parade from the temple of Karnak to Luxor. Okay, so and children were considered adults at very young age in ancient Egypt. While they were still children, however, they had fun playing games and swimming in the Nile River, and archaeologists have found evidence of all sorts of kid toys such as the rattles, toy lions, balls, and spinning tops are like that. Okay, so these are certain things regarding the amusement and the entertainment and sports also. And now I will give you things like how the woman role had followed, or women role in the ancient Egyptian society. Okay, so as a part of Egyptian society, you have to see the women role also. First of all, in general, men and women had different roles in the society of ancient Egypt. However, unlike in many ancient civilizations, women were considered men's equals under law, and just like men, women could run business, borrow money, and own property also. And as a part of education, and because women did not become scribes or work in the government, but they did not learn how to read or write. So they were taught homemaking skills and how to manage a household by their mother. And as a part of marriage, girls in ancient Egypt got married very young, usually around the age of 12 or 13. And the Egyptians did not have big marriage ceremonies, and the most marriages were arranged by the two families only. And when you see the typical roles which followed by the women in ancient Egypt, and women typically worked around the home. They prepared food, cooked meals, cleaned the house, made clothing, and took care of the children. And poor women could help their husbands work there in the field, and wealthier women could manage the servants or perhaps run a business of their own also. And while preparing food for the family was a full-time job for most peasant women, and they would tend the garden, ground grain into flour, knead flour into dough, and cook bread. And when you see the wealthy women could have servants to do most of the housework and cooking, and they could spend their time managing the severals and planning large banquets. Okay, so sometimes wealthy or high-ranking women became priestesses working in temple for one of the Egyptian goddesses. And as a part of these priestesses and goddesses, only women from important and high-ranking families would have been allowed to become priestesses. And working in a temple was considered an honor. And there were many powerful women goddesses in the Egyptian religion, including Isis, better to be called as the mother goddess, and other goddess of love and motherhood, and Nut, goddess of the sky, are like that. When you see the women who played certain jobs, not all the women worked in the family home or conformed to the typical rules of women. In ancient Egyptian society, this was okay, and women owned a business selling products such as the cosmetics, perfume, or clothing. And some women worked as entertainers in the courts, and they also worked as musicians or the dancers or like that. And when you see, as a part of the political arena, although women had less opportunity than men, they had the same legal rights. In some cases, this allowed women to rise all the way in power to become pharaoh. And two of the most famous women pharaohs were Hatshepsut and Cleopatra VII. Okay, so you can see such interesting facts as a part of the ancient Egyptian society. Husbands and wives were generally buried together in the same tomb, and pharaohs were the exception and were usually buried separately from their wives. And family was very important to the ancient Egyptians. Most men only had one wife, and both men and women were expected to be loyal to their spouse. And women wore long and lightweight dresses made of linen, and they also wore jewelry and makeup to protect their eyes and skin. And although women had equal rights under the law, they were generally considered lower than men in Egyptian society. Okay, so even though they had certain equal rights or equal status with the men, but in the practical in the society, you cannot see such equality among the women and men, because the majority of the men as rulers, you are aware, you find one or two women rulers like Hatshepsut was the Queen Hatshepsut was probably one of the first woman ruler in the world, I think. Okay, so such and Cleopatra, one of the queen who who played an important role in the polity of ancient Egypt, and also in the administration of ancient Rome. Okay, so where Mark Antony, Cleopatra both had the love story, and the Mark Antony of ancient Roman who had mad deep love with Cleopatra, and we already discussed about certain things regarding Cleopatra and Mark Antony, and finally Cleopatra and Mark Antony made suicide, right? So this is somewhat interesting things about the role of women in the ancient Egyptian civilization. Okay, so apart from that, we also had other things like as a part of ancient culture. Among the culture, you definitely know about the religion and god and goddesses which worshipped by these ancient Egyptians and people of ancient Egyptian society. And religion played a big part in the lives of the ancient Egyptians, and they believed in a wide variety of god and goddesses. These gods could take different forms, usually as animals, and the same animal may represent a different god depending on the area, temple, or time frame. And major gods and goddesses, there were some gods and goddesses that were more important and prominent than others. And here are some of the more important ones. And one is Re, Ra, was the sun god and the most important god to the ancient Egyptians. And Re was drawn as a man with the hawk head and headdress with sun disk. At one point, Re was combined with another god, Amun, and the two made an even more powerful god, Amun Ra. And Re was said to have created all forms of life and was supreme ruler of the gods. Another one is Isis. Isis was the mother goddesses, and it was thought that she would protect and help people in need. And she was drawn as a woman with headdress in the shape of the throne. And another goddess, Osiris. Osiris was ruler of the underworld and god of the dead, and he was husband of Isis and husband of Isis and father of Horus. And Osiris was drawn as a mummified man with feathered headdress. And another one is Horus. Horus was god of the sky, and Horus was the son of Isis and Osiris, and he was drawn as a man with the head of hawk, and the ruler of Egyptians, Pharaoh, was thought to be living version Horus, and in this way, Pharaoh was the leader of Egyptian religion and people's representative to the gods. And another one is Thoth. Thoth was god of knowledge, and he blessed the Egyptians basically, and he blessed the Egyptians with writing, medicine, and mathematics. He was also god of the moon, and Thoth is drawn as a man with an ibis bird head. Sometimes he was represented as baboon. When you see temples, many pharaohs built large temples in honor of their gods, and these temples would have large statues, gardens, memorials, and place of worship. And towns would have their own temples as well as for their own local gods. And some famous temple, including the Luxor temple, the temple of Isis at Philae, and temple of Horus and Edfu, and the temples of Ramses and Neferti at Abu Simbel, and the temple of Amun at Karnak. Okay, so you are watching the Luxor temple at night by Spetfere. So, which is watching the picture on your screen. And the ancient Egyptians considered Pharaoh to be their main intermediary to the gods, perhaps more of high priest than a god. He was, however, closely associated with the god Horus and may have at times been considered a god in human form. Okay, so and they also certain traditions, rituals also. As a part of religion, you are aware that certain beliefs also there, certain superstitions, beliefs are common phenomena. And as a part of these superstitions or beliefs, ancient Egyptian people also had certain beliefs like life after death or like that. Okay, so and the Egyptians believed that there was a life after death, and they thought that people had two important parts. One is Ka, which is Ka or life force that they only had while alive, and Ba, which was more like a soul. Okay, so if the Ka and Ba would be united in the after world, the person would live in the afterlife. A key component was that the body be preserved by this to happen. This is why the Egyptians used it to embalming the process or mummification to preserve the dead. Okay, so after that, when you see the temples and priests, and the temples and priests also played an important role in the ancient Egyptian society. And the pharaohs of Egypt built the temples as houses for the Egyptian gods. Inside the temples, priests performed rituals in the hopes of gaining the favor of gods and to protect Egypt from the forces of chaos. And there were two main types of temples built in ancient Egypt. And the first type is called the cultus temple and was built to house a specific god or goddesses. And the second type is called the mortuary temple and was built to worship a dead pharaoh. Okay, so apart from this, you also see another huge structures called as the pyramidal structure. Okay, so pyramidal structure which they built number of pyramids, and these also like a temples. Okay, so when you see the design, over time the temples of ancient Egypt grew into large complexes with many buildings. After the center of the temple was the inner chamber and sanctuary, which housed a statue of the god. And this is where the high priest would hold rituals and give offerings to the god. Only the priest could enter these sacred buildings. Okay, so around the sanctuary, other smaller rooms would hold lesser gods and companions to the primary god of the temple. And outside the inner chambers would be other buildings, including large halls filled with the columns and open courts. And the entrance to the temple often had tall pylons that served as guardians to the temples. When you see the priestly class, working in the temples were the priestess and priestesses. There was typically a high priest that was assigned by the pharaoh, and the high priest performed the most important rituals and managed the business of the temple. And working as a priest was considered a good job and was a sought after position by wealthy and powerful Egyptians. And priests had to be pure in order to serve the gods. They washed twice a day, shaved their heads, and wore only the cleanest linen clothing and leopard skins. And as a part of this religion, you see certain rituals and festivals also. And as a part of rituals, priests performed daily rituals in the temples. And every morning, the high priest would enter the sanctuary and anoint the god statue with the sacred oil and perfume. He would then put ceremonial clothing and paint on the statue. After that, he would make offerings of good food, such as bread, meat, and fruit. And the other rituals and offerings would be made throughout the day in shrines outside the inner sanctuary. And rituals sometimes included music and hymns. As a part of festivals, throughout the year, the temples would celebrate events with festivals. Many festivals were open to the local people and not just the priests. Some of the festivals involved large processions where one god would visit the temple of another god. And when you see the economics as a part of religion, the larger temple complexes were major economic hubs in the ancient Egypt. They employed thousands of workers to supply food, jewelry, and clothing for the offerings, as well as the many priests. And the temples often owned land and collect grain and gold, perfumes, and other gifts from people wanting to earn the favor of the gods. When you see the interesting facts about this religion, columns and pillars in the temples often were designed in the shape of the sacred plants such as the papyrus and lotus. And these plants were believed to grow on the mythical island of creation. and sometimes priests were served as judges for the local people, and the temples grew in size over time as new pharaohs added to them, and some temples started out as small shrines in early Egyptian history and ended up as large complexes by the end of the New Kingdom period. And the high priest was powerful person in both the Egyptian society and the government. And grain surpluses held by the temples helped to feed the people during the times of the famine. Okay, so students, this is about my class today, and uh, I will give you uh, the remaining things in the ancient Egyptian society, and tomorrow is the final class for this semester, and uh, I will complete this Egyptian civilization, about Egyptian civilization in the tomorrow's class. And one more announcement I have to announce that for your first semester, you have to you have to be present your seminar papers. Okay, so as a part of your syllabus, you have to you have to be uh, you have to submit your write-ups, and the same thing you have to present online mode. Okay, so according to the college instructions, are you listening, Pratibha?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, according to college instructions, we are going to conduct seminar presentations um, um, on 12th and 13th. On both days, we have to take the seminars from uh, you, particularly as a part of the semester one. Okay, so you have to be right up to the 15 papers are like that. Up to 10 papers is enough. Up to 10 papers, you have to choose one
For each
type.
subject.
No, no, no. Only seminar. Seminar is one for each semester, not for each paper, right?
Then
So
topic
you have to choose.
from any subject.
Yeah, from five papers, you can choose any one topic, and uh, you have to write up to 5 pages. Sorry, not five, 10 pages, and the same thing you have to present on the Google Meet, right? So we will give you nearly 3 to 5 minutes for each student, and you have to present on the Google Meet only. And we are going to conduct on 12th and 13th of this month. Okay, so you have another 3 to 4 days to be submit, because we have to complete this process by the end of this 15th of this month, so that you have to be present your seminars on 12th and 13th, both days you are taking, right? So you have the 25 marks for total seminar, and seminar is compulsory, and the seminar has two parts. One is the written up, and next one is the presentation. Okay, so for the written up, you have 15 marks. For the presentation, 10 marks. Totally 25 marks. Presentation is the compulsory. Okay, so seminar is compulsory for every semester. Those who absent or those who are not presented their seminars, they will consider as the fail. Okay, it's a compulsory one, because every semester you will have the 25 marks total, and 500 marks for your five papers, including internal and external, and 25 marks separately for the seminar. Okay, So seminar is compulsory. Those who are failed to attend the seminar, they consider as the fail. They not promoted for the next semester. And those who want to present their seminars, again they will present their seminars with the next batches. Okay, so you cannot take in between. The thing you have to remind that, you have to remember and follow the instructions what the college and university has giving. Okay, so seminar is compulsory. You have to present the seminar for every semester. You have to present 4 seminars for 4 semesters, right?
Sir, for whom we have to send this seminar papers?
I have to send. Okay, you have to send to me.
Sir, your personal WhatsApp number.
Yeah, you have to send to my personal WhatsApp number.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so need
Okay,
not
sir.
to send to any other teacher. Only you have to send to my WhatsApp number.
Okay, sir.
Okay, don't put in the groups also.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so you have to inform those who you have contact with you, and
Okay, sir.
I will inform the people, and I will take a separate class on the process of the seminar tomorrow, and I will request all the students to attend tomorrow's class, and those who have contact with you, you can also inform those, and tomorrow's maybe the final class of the semester, and I will give you how to write and how to present the seminar also. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, Pratibha, this is end of my class today, and uh, uh, I'm ending my